Okay, hi everyone. I think we can get started now. Um, Welcome and thanks for joining us today. I'm Gerald, one of the co-leads for Sustainability Month this year, and as part of Students Movement. So as April has just started, we are here today for the launch of Sustainability Month 2024. To get started, we have Rosemary, our Vice Chairperson from Climate Students Movement, to give us a brief introduction and inspirational message. So without further ado, Rosemary, please.
Thank you so much, Gerald, and hello everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you. Yeah, I will talk a bit about the Climate Student International, how it started, and also what is happening in Climate Student movement. And yeah, from the beginning, it started at my university in Uppsala, Sweden, and that was in 2018. We started the first local chapter, and then we reached out to students in other universities and gathered similar initiatives and started a national association for climate students Sweden. And in 2020, we started to have international network meetings with exchange students that have been involved in climate students in Sweden and that were back in their home countries. And we started with these network meetings to see if we could start an international association or organization for climate students. And we managed to do that together with students in Singapore, UK, Kenya, and yeah, maybe some more countries that I don't remember right now. But it was several countries starting up Climate Students International in 2020. And yeah, the main mission for climate students, as we have in our charter, is to globally mobilize, organize, and strengthen students' initiatives and organizations that are pushing higher education institutions to become brave climate leaders in our societies. Yeah, that is the main mission and idea of climate students. And how we mobilize, organize, and especially strengthen students' initiatives and organizations is that we have this Sustainability Month once a year, and we also have a international conference in this autumn. It's in October, November, and yeah, then we. For the Sustainability Month, I will not talk so much right now because that is going to be presented later. But for the conference, the idea with that is to gather our members to share experiences and to get inspiration from other organizations and partners, basically, to just say it very brief. And then we also have member meetings regularly on a regular basis, and at these member meetings we have capacity buildings and workshops and yeah, all different sorts of inspiration and yeah, like that. And yeah, finally, just to talk about Climate Student International, we have launched a campaign, an international campaign called Act in a Climate Science. And that campaign is in collaboration, we developed it in collaboration with the Global Student Forum, which is a global umbrella organization for student unions. And we also developed it together with SOS International, that is Student Organizing for Sustainability, which is an similar international organization to climate students, but focusing more broadly on sustainability. But also organizing and strengthening students and student initiatives. Okay, so at the moment, I think Climate Students International have around 20 members in around 20 countries, just to give you an idea. And we are covering several continents in the world with these members. Yeah, so that's a bit about climate students. I don't know if you have any questions. Should we take that maybe if you can write in the chat, and then we can answer in the chat. I think that's a good idea. Okay, yeah.
Sorry. So we will have a short Q&A session at the end, towards the end as well. So
Okay, perfect.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So next up, we have Robert, a previous member of Climate Students Movement, to give us a rough introduction to Sustainability Month. Robert, please.
All right, thank you. Happy Sustainability Month, everyone. So 4 years ago, I was starting off as a student coordinator in my local student group. So I was the sustainability coordinator, and I was thinking, you know, what can we do to make a difference? And I got thinking that culture was one of those things that really needed to be addressed in sustainability, especially with climate change. So somehow I came up with this idea, and of course, there's other people around the world doing this as well. So when I was thinking about Earth Day in April, I was thinking, you know, it's really wonderful they started this initiative, and it's brought a lot of awareness about environmental and sustainability issues. But I just felt like, wow, 2030 is just around the corner, and we're still far off from achieving the Paris Agreement and the Sustainable Development Goals. So I thought that, wow, we really need to do a whole month of this. And this way we can network, bring people together, and try to take another approach of raising awareness and engagement. So as I mentioned, this cultural approach, I'd like to talk about sustainability and culture just briefly. So culture is the beliefs, values, ways of life, and the stories, those things that relate to our relationship with each other in nature, and the things we accept as normal within our society. And one of the more obvious things about culture would be cultural diversity. We can just look at each other here in this group right now. So we're all from different backgrounds, from different countries, and we all represent a different culture, our different values, beliefs, and ways of life. So it's important for addressing sustainability globally and locally that cultural diversity is acknowledged, that it's respected, and interactions are inclusive and socially just. We live in this diverse world, and especially when it comes to global challenges like climate change, this calls for inclusion in shared meanings, because what sustainability means to me might mean a little bit different to you and your culture. And this is what Sustainability Month is all about, is getting together and having these cultural exchanges and these mutual learning events where we can share each other our perspectives and learn. So one of the questions that we need to be asking is, what does sustainability mean across cultures? And then what is important to different groups of people concerning climate change? Because it's going to be different in different environments, in different socioeconomic context. And then what about underrepresented groups, such as minorities and vulnerable groups of people? How is climate change or sustainability? You know, how are these affecting these people? They need to have a voice. So something that's important to consider is that there is global culture. There's global cultures and there's global cultural systems. So we could think about capitalism. It is a global cultural system. It's a system of values. What do we prioritize in society and across our societies? What do we value? And this is a really important question because we're dealing with some complex human challenges. We're dealing with some complex environmental and the intersection between society and culture. These issues, we really need to address the global scale and then across the levels to the local scale. And it should be inclusive. It shouldn't oppress the local cultures. The local cultures need to be empowered communities So they have a voice in the change. So I guess you could think about sustainability. It's relating in a lot of ways to harmony, peace, and coexistence. So it comes back to Sustainability Month. How can we create a culture of sustainability amongst our diverse cultures that reflects the values and diversity that includes us all in the solution? So this Sustainability Month is a great time to think about what is your values, what is your beliefs, what are the stories that impacted your life, and what kind of things can you contribute? Can you do music, art? Are you good at writing poetry? Are you into research? Or maybe just talking to people about these issues, getting new perspectives. This is all important that we address sustainability issues like climate change and complex challenges like human development. So something to think about. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of Sustainability Month. So as I said, I was in that student association 4 years ago, and one of the first things that we were trying to figure out is how to do sustainability at the university level with just our student group. And the great thing about Sustainability Month is it's a platform for creativity, and it's a platform for networking, interdisciplinary, across professions, across the university. And that was the first year of Sustainability Month. We managed to create a joint project with a completely different department, and we had events where we shared our perspectives about sustainability and climate change. We had events about storytelling, about creating memes, so we could kind of make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more creative, sometimes humorous. So then after that first year, I was working alongside the climate students, and I kept telling them, about this idea. And the next year after that, we both worked together and beautiful things started to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Isha so she can continue about the history from here.
Thank you. Thanks, Robert, for sharing about your perspective and also about all the different, I guess, challenges when it comes to sustainability, culture, and closing that gap as well. Yeah, so I think as Robert discussed, after they started Sustainability Month, so I think the group in Finland is one of the members of Climate Students. So that's kind of how we heard about all these actions they have been doing in Sustainability Month, and we thought it was quite a good opportunity or a good initiative to take up to an international level. So we worked together to kind of create Sustainability Month, and in a sense the essence of it, when it moved international, we wanted to try to give space for different people from all over the world to get involved, to pledge for Sustainability Month, to essentially show their support and plan events for Sustainability Month. And we also wanted to kind of bridge the gap, I guess. Okay, so maybe I'll just start with 2022 first. So in 2022, when we started doing this, so we essentially created a public Google Drive with some basic information and also a form for people to essentially pledge for Sustainability Month and to tell us about events they're doing for Sustainability Month, be it international events. So for example, maybe public international talks anybody can sign up for, learn more about sustainability. But we also tried to encourage a lot of local events. So for example, at a local physical location where people are maybe planning to try to speak to people, to try to engage on a more personal level, because it's also very different types of event, international and local events, and they have very different types of reach, which is why we try to kind of have both of these. So that's kind of how we started doing it internationally. And then moving forward, the year after that, we actually got a bit more support. We started to form like a sustainability month team, a really small one, but it allowed us to try to do like also reaching out to potential partners. So at that time, we also talked about the idea. I think Robert previously mentioned also like how people can get involved with research, with poetry, with art and things like that. And we wanted to kind of like create events that really showcase this, or to really bring in people from different walks of life. I think in the climate sustainability sector, we talk a lot about how like we want to make sure that it is interdisciplinary, that it is intersectional, and that like different people from different walks of life, people that are working in different sectors, really come in and play their part. Because climate change is a big issue and it has to be solved on a lot of different levels. We really need people from different background, different jobs, different majors in universities to be working on their own part in a sense. So we try to do this by, for example, working together with like university organizations and poetry competition organization to plan like a sustainability month poetry competition, and essentially do these kind of like collaborations to create space to try to invite more people outside of the usual sustainability sphere to consider and to kind of like step into this area. So that's kind of what we did in 2023. And this year, I think I won't talk too much about this year, but this year essentially we also have a small team, and we are essentially trying to do the same thing where we push for international events, partnerships, but also encouraging people to plan and like carry out local actions, have local events and things like that. So I think pass the time back to Gerald, and they will share a bit more about what is going to be happening this year.
Yeah. Thanks, Robert and Isha. So up next we have since Matthew is not able to join us today, Matthew is our other co-lead for this year's Sustainability Month. So he has recorded a video for us to explain and introduce the upcoming events with partners that we have lined up for April. So here's the video. Let me know if you can hear it.
Now that you've been acquainted with Sustainability Month and its history, we will now be introducing you to some activities that our partner organizations have in store for you. It is our pleasure to inform you that the EO Climate Crisis Photography Competition 2024, which is organized by Earth.org, is now open. You may showcase your photographs and join either of the two categories. First is the wildlife in peril, and the other one is the climate action. And one more thing, they have prizes in store for the chosen winners. So now, are you interested? Keep in mind that the deadline for the submission would be on April 26. Good luck! Next up is the Earth Month Eco Challenge 2024, which is organized by the ecochallenge.org. It will be a 30-day program focused on environmental and social engagement. And this year, their theme will be highlighting the intersection of conservation and behavioral change. Another initiative that we have in store for you is the special virtual documentary nights by the Community Documentary Night. This will be small group discussions focused on two highlighted films that revolve around environmental conservation and national service. So these movies will be including first, The Seeds of Vandana Shiva, and the other one is The Civilian Conservation Corps. Now, if you're a fan of watching movies and letting your friends know about your thoughts during movies, then maybe this is the one best for you. The discussions would be on April 21 for the first movie, which is The Seeds of Vandana Shiva, and the other discussion will be on April 28 for the movie The Civilian Conservation Corps. Moreover, we will be seeing art installations prepared by Fashion Parade around Singapore from April 11 to 24. Their exhibits would include The Art of Everyone and The Pink Earth. So make sure to take note of the dates because these are the only dates when you would be able to see, once again, the exhibits that they have, which includes The Art of Everyone and The Pink Earth. And lastly, we will be having a panel discussion co-organized with the International Association of students in agricultural and related sciences. So this will tackle sustainable food systems and its intersectionality with public health and climate. We will be conducting this on April 27, 1:30 to 3 p.m. UTC+0. And more details will come soon in our social media. So please make sure to follow our social media pages and stay tuned for more details. If there's at least one of these that you would want to attend this year, then make sure to access our most recent Sustainability Month newsletter, which can be accessed through the QR code that can be seen in your screens right now.
Okay, so that's all for the events that we have coming up in April. We are currently also talking to a few other partners, so there might be still more events to come. So do check out our social media for that. And next up, we have Megan from the communications team to introduce us to Sustainability Pact and impact for Sustainability Month 2024. Megan, please.
Thank you. Thanks, Gerald. So, hi everyone, it's nice to see you all. I'm Megan from the communications team of CSM, and I'll just be sharing today about the information pack as well as the challenge pack that we have prepared for CSM's Sustainability Month. So, firstly on the info pack. So this info pack is a Google Drive folder that contains items that are meant for everyone to share and publicize information about Sustainability Month. So firstly, we have compiled a few publicity posts for you to share with your networks on our social media challenge, which I'll explain in a moment. And then we also have a Twibbon, which enables everyone to show your encouragement and support for Sustainability Month. So the Twibbon here is actually something for you to add to your profile pictures, and you can of course display them on your social media accounts and also help to advertise to your network to also support Sustainability Month. Next, we also have a poster that details 4 different ways you can participate in SM, and they're indicated by that poster in the top right corner. And lastly, we have also compiled the February and March editions of our newsletters, and you may access all this information by scanning the QR code in the center. Yeah, next slide, please. So now on to the social media challenge for Sustainability Month. And this year, the social media challenge is called Impacting. So what is Impacting about? So Impacting is a challenge that is designed in the form of weekly tasks according to 4 different themes for each week. And we believe that by carrying out these actions every week, we'll be impacting the collective climate effort around the world, which is a step towards owning our future, a theme for this year's Sustainability Month. Next slide. So because of these different themes, we have actually prepared checklists for our participants to refer to help them in completing their challenges. So let me just quickly share what the different themes for each week are. So during the first week, which is this week, we would have participants to re-examine and investigate different aspects of sustainability. Then the next week, we would have participants to choose and act on that specific aspect of sustainability. The following week, we would have the Act on Your Climate Science campaign. And how participants would get involved in this campaign is to read up on the Student Climate Framework for Higher Education Institutes, or HEIs, that is being prepared by the campaign team from CSM. So during this week, we would also have participants to discuss the framework with student groups in the universities. So to wrap up the challenge in the 4th and final week, we will get participants to reflect and write about their experiences. So how exactly are participants going to be able to jot down their challenges? We have prepared templates for our participants to record down their experience, and you can see that on the left side of the slide. So you may access these templates via a QR code, which I'll share later, and these templates actually have some description on them, which participants may edit, and they're just meant to also be an extra form of guidance for our participants. So under our templates, we have also included a link to these templates that participants can edit directly on. Of course, these participants, you do not have to use these templates, you can of course create your own, and we will also highly encourage that as well. So finally, because there's a lot to take in for this challenge, we have also included detailed instructions that can be found in this document called the master document. So the master document will outline more in detail what exactly the purpose of this challenge is, and also include the different checklists and guiding questions to aid participants in completing the challenge. Next slide. So all these that I've just shared are found under the 2024 Social Media Challenge Pack, which is also a Google Drive folder, and you may access it via the QR code shown on the right. So this is it for impacting, and I would also highly encourage everyone to share this challenge along with the info pack to your network. So next slide, please. So I have included what social media platforms CSM are on. So we have our usernames. So we are at Climate Students Movement on Instagram and Facebook. On Twitter or X, we are known as Climate Students One. And on our LinkedIn page, we're known as Climate Students Movement International. Because there's a lot of information to take in, we also will provide weekly updates on our accounts to remind you to complete your challenges, and also post the weekly checklist on our social media accounts. So as I said earlier, please do participate in this challenge, and we also encourage you to do them with your friends, because as they say, the more the merrier. So this is all I have to share for impacting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Megan. Okay, we are coming towards the end of our launch event today. Does anybody have any questions for us? I think Adamu asked a question in the chat. Maybe Isha, you might want to address it to everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. I guess if you guys have any more questions, feel free to type in the chat or unmute when I'm done as well. But I think Adamu asked earlier, like, for Sustainability Month, what is the meaning of it in Climate Students Movement perspective, and what's the main targets on various group across different member countries? So I would say that, like, usually it depends on like the members' ability to contribute, and we're very open. The idea is to also make it we also want to have sustainable engagement. So I think it's for each member to consider how they want to get involved and what they are able to do for Sustainability Month. There are a lot of ways that they can get involved. So like according to different levels of engagement, we have one which is, for example, getting involved with the Sustainability Month social media challenge that Megan just shared. Or another one would be also sharing to like your members or people in your organizations and networks about ongoing like activities in Sustainability Month. So like I think Matthew's video sharing about the different events and activities, sharing about those to people in your country to engage with them and get them to join. That's another way that a member could get involved. And the last one is to also try to maybe if there is the capacity for it, we also encourage them to try to pledge for Sustainability Month and also plan an event for it. It doesn't necessarily have to be an external event. For example, if like there isn't the space or resources to plan an event that is like for external participants, it could be an internal event within like the member organization. Plan something for your members to discuss what Sustainability Month would mean for you, what sustainability means for you, what kind of like goals and actions. I think in an organization, it's very easy to get stuck in the drive of like, oh, we have this event coming up, we have this thing coming up, we have to plan for this, and have a lot of meetings based around that. But it's good to also have some time for reflection, and that could be something that is planned for Sustainability Month as well.
Okay, thank you, Isha. I see that Moza Ibrahim has raised your hand. Do you have a question for us?
Yes, good afternoon and good evening, good morning, everyone. I am Musa Ibrahim Barker from Chad in Africa Central. Thank you for your floor. Just a small question. What is the challenge, media challenge? Explain me more information about that. I don't understand exactly media challenge. What can you give me more information about media challenge? What is the answer exactly?
Megan,
I
you
think
wanna...
I can take that question. So the challenge basically requires our participants to carry out certain actions every week. And every week we require participants to carry out different actions. So they are meant to be progressive, but participants don't necessarily have to start from like week 1. They can join in anytime. Although we also highly recommend that participants start from week 1 and work their way up to week 4. So for this week, what we intended for participants to do was simply to explore what different aspects of sustainability are. So for example, it could be on climate justice. It could probably be about maybe food systems. So for example, like going vegetarian, going vegan, cutting down on meat consumption, or it can be maybe more on about like renewable energy. So there isn't really a limit as to which certain aspects of sustainability they can explore and look into. And because in week 1, the participants have already kind of done their research, then in week 2, what we require participants to do would be to act on that specific aspect of sustainability. So for example, if a participant has chosen to maybe research a bit more about maybe the veganism movement or going vegetarian, then probably in the second week, what they could do is to try going vegetarian or have a vegan diet for a week, and then to write down their experiences according to the checklist that was provided. So the checklist is on the right of the screen. Then on the third week, it will be slightly different, where we would introduce them to the campaign of CSM, which is Act on Your Climate Science. And because the campaign team of CSM has prepared a framework, so this framework can be used as a reference for these participants to compare what their universities have been lacking in or have not been lacking in, and to discuss them with the sustainability student groups in their universities. So again, if they do not know where to start, we also have provided samples for them, which has some kind of description to teach them how to do it, and also the checklist for them to refer to. And so because from weeks 1 to 3 consists a lot of like researching and acting, and a lot of things have been done, in the final week, we would then require the participants to kind of sit back and reflect on what they have done throughout the previous weeks and to write them down. So again, there's also a checklist to guide them in writing their reflections as well. Yeah. So a lot of these details that I've just mentioned can also be found in the master document, as well as in the samples. So I think Kara has shared the links to the Google Drive document for impacting. So you may refer to that document for more details and examples. So just let me know if you have any other questions regarding this.
Okay. Thank you, Megan. Ibrahim, I hope that answers your question. Okay, so if no one has any other questions, just to wrap things up, Rosemary will be going through on how did we get started on all of the stuff that we have mentioned today. Sorry, give me one moment. Okay. Rosemary, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Cheryl. Yeah, I was asked to give you an inspirational message in the end of this launch event, and I was thinking broader than just the Sustainability Month. So I tried to collect my what experiences I have made during the years starting up Climate Students. From the beginning in 2018 till today. And this is some of the things I have learned. And it's about seeing opportunities when you're starting up, even if it's a project, and a network, an organization, if you are hosting an event or anything activity you're doing. And I think it's really important to think about what really motivates you. Why are you doing this? Why were you active in the climate or sustainability movement from the very beginning? What was your starting point, and when did it started, and why? I think that's always important to go back to the beginning and keep that as a guiding light with you all the time, because mostly I think when we do a Climate Students projects and events, we do it voluntarily, and then it's important to know really why you're doing this and get the energy from that. And that also links to the vision and the mission, to go back to read the vision and the mission and also create your own vision. I think Robert shared his vision and mission with us, and that's also engaging. So it's really important to have the vision and mission when you engage other people in your project or in your team and your organization. And the other thing is, what kind of activities do you find energizing and fun, and what brings you joy? It's easy to feel like such a responsibility, and it's heavy, and we lack resources, and we so many didn't show up in our event, and it's easy to just feel that the problem is so big, and of course it is, but still we need strength somewhere. So it's really important to actually see what activities can we do that gives us energy, and not just only takes energy from us. So instead of being engaged from a place of like fear or sadness and like negative energy, try to engage from a place where you have this positive energy, because that also you share that to other people, and then they feel that, oh, I want to be part of this because I get this nice feeling. It makes me happy. So I think that's one important key that I bring with me, because when I started Climate Students, I was really like, I felt like in a bubble, that this problem is so huge and it's global, and what can I do as a little person? But when I started to like break it down and see what can I really do, oh, it's fun to do all these things. It's fun to meet new people, and okay. And another thing is to how do you build a strong team? It's good to not only like think about, oh, I need a team with 5 people. Try to break it down, like, okay, what are the people you really would need that would like complement you? For myself, I'm not that good at doing administration tasks, and then Isha, she's brilliant doing administration tasks, so we really complement each other. I'm good at like bringing like vision and ideas and things like that. So I think try to find people that really complement you, because then you together can build a stronger team. I think that's another key. And then look at who are your allies. It's like when you're new and you don't have so much resources, you can go to other organizations and other initiatives and see how can we collaborate. We were very small in the beginning. We were just like a small network of students in different countries, but from the beginning we reached out to SOS International, that is like a bigger, more established international organization, and we reached out to Global Student Forum, and we reached out to UN, and we did all this. We took all these contacts and had all these meetings, and they wanted to meet us because we had this vision and we have this idea about what we can do, and we have some proof from our work in Sweden that we have done things. So I think just starting like do some small things, and then don't be afraid to think big. When you have taken a small step, and when you've done like a pilot or you tried something out, you learn things, and use that when you reach out to organizations that are bigger, because then you can like create something new together that is bigger. Even if you don't have the resources in your own network or organization from the beginning, you can take advantage of the bigger organization that has these resources. For example, in Global Student Forum, they had a project application at the same time when we reached out to them. So they said that, oh, in our application that we're doing right now, we can include you in our project. And then we got 2 consultants working with us to develop the Acting on Climate Science campaign. So I think that's another key. Okay, moving on. And I think, thinking about how much time you got as a startup, often it's hard to think, because often you think, okay, I'm also doing my my education. I'm a student. I also have like a part-time work I'm doing, and I don't have so much time to get involved with climate students. But when you form your team and you find more people, like more students, you together have more time. So instead of thinking each individual don't have so much time, think how much time do you have as a group. So if I have like maybe 25% of my time, that's a lot actually. If you have 10% of your time, and then you can find 5 people that have 10% as well. Together you have 50%, like a half-time position time. That's amazing. So try to think of it like that. Okay, so next key. Yeah, where is it easiest to start? Start with try to lower the threshold. So as I was talking about before, like what is the like easiest and more fun and things we can do? For us, we started with having network digital events. And at these network digital events, we invited guest speakers. And all this was for free, and we learned things from the guest speakers. We also could, after the network meeting, discuss, or during the network meeting, discuss collaboration opportunities with the guest speaker we had invited, and ask questions and have a dialogue and things like that. So I think that's a good event to start with, and you don't need any resources. It's easy to start with, and all the things you have in Sustainability Month, that's also easy to start with. So and also think about where do I start, like in which at which university, like if it feels like, oh, my university doesn't care so much about climate and doesn't like encourage students to be engaged in climate's organization and such, try to find a university that actually have a different view and are encouraging students, and where there is existing initiatives like your initiative, and try to reach out to them and try to get energy and collaborate with them. So try to, like, even if you're in a position where it feels like no one cares and no one listens, to just make it easy. Just try to lower the threshold and look for people that really are on the same page. Yeah. So that's another key. And then the final key that I want to share, it's really easy to get, especially for me, to get all these ideas. Like we can do this and we can do that. And in the beginning, you often brainstorm and you have all this idea on the wall that you think you can do, but really try to prioritize and see, okay, what's the thing that you can do to start with? Like, what is really the first step and why? Try to make really like a plan and don't start with too many things at the same time. When you feel like, oh, there's so many good ideas, we want to start with three ideas at the same time. Try to pick one idea that you start with. Okay, and look at this idea. What is the first step working with this idea to realize it? And take it from there. Often there is synergies. Like even if you start with one idea, it has synergies with other ideas, and it's kind of growth. It will grow in a natural way, I think. So I think that's also a key. That was everything I would like to share with you. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful Sustainability Month. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Rosemary. So to close off our launch event today, I'll just be introducing our evaluation form that we have. So this evaluation form is basically kind of like a feedback form for you to do right after events that you have completed. So example, maybe you took part in the community night discussion, documentary night discussion. So right after that, you can just fill in this form just to let us know, and also the organizers to let all of us know what can be done better and what was done well. So some reminders about this form. The form will take around 10 to 15 minutes per initiative to complete, and it is highly recommended that you answer this evaluation form as soon as you are finished with the initiative that you wish to evaluate. So you may also only assess one initiative per form submission. To assess another initiative, kindly access this form once again after submitting your previous assessment. So for example, if you want to assess Fashion Parade and launch session, you will have to fill up the form first to assess the Fashion Parade initiative, and then submit the form, open it up again, and submit a new one to assess the launch session. So the forms will also be closed by the end of May, so May 31st, to give time to all partner organizations and participants to evaluate. So with that, thank you so much for joining us today in our launch event, and we hope that you guys will participate actively in all of our events and social media challenges. Thank you very much, everyone, and see you guys during Sustainability Month.